Well, greetings from Rome. I'm standing in the cortile, the courtyard of the great North American College, where I spent two very happy sojourns as a scholar in residence. So you're seeing one of the really great seminaries in the world, and a lot of the American Cardinals are staying here before they go over to the Conclave. Well, it's been a fascinating several days in Rome. I reported last night on some of these conversations I've been having. Last night and today, I had just some fascinating conversation with a whole variety of people. This morning, over in George Weigel's apartment, along with Raymond Arroyo from EWTN and Raymond D'Souza, Robert Royal, many other people. And we're just talking about what's going on here in Rome and what it looks like as we get ready for the conclave. And the single most amazing thing, as I mentioned last night, is 2 weeks ago, we would have said, no way an American would ever be a credible candidate for Pope. Chances slim to none. Now we're talking about not one, but two very credible candidates. I said something about Cardinal Dolan last night, who remains, I think, a very serious player in this conversation. Is they're looking for somebody, I think, who not only can give that face to the new evangelization, but also can come from the outside and clean up some of the things that need to be cleaned up in the Curia here in Rome. But we talked more last night and this morning about Cardinal Sean O'Malley from Boston, who, of course, is a very accomplished man, fascinating man, very holy man. But more to it, the Italians, they're saying, find captivating this Capuchin friar with his habit and his sandals, reminding them of everyone from St. Francis through Padre Pio. But this, hopeful, holy man who might bring some, needed spiritual cleansing, let's say, to the Vatican. Also someone who has an extraordinary linguistic skill. I was here about 6 weeks ago for a conference on the church in Latin America. I heard Cardinal O'Malley give a wonderful speech in flawless Spanish, and then afterwards entertain questions in Spanish and Portuguese flawlessly for about an hour. A couple of our interlocutors this morning were from Latin America, and they said how much credibility he has in Latin America because of this deep attunement to the cultures there. So if an O'Malley candidacy gets going and the Latin Americans and North Americans get behind him, that could be extraordinary. I'll add just one last little wrinkle. After the conversation last night, after dinner with my NBC friends, I went over to the Columbus Hotel to have drinks with Father Tom Rosica, good friend of Word on Fire. He runs the Salt and Light TV up in Toronto. And Father Tom is a major player here with Father Lombardi, who is the chief press spokesman for the Vatican. And Father Tom, every day when Lombardi gives the briefings, is giving the English version right next to him. So a man who's very much of an insider here also has an incredible command of foreign languages. Anyway, so we were talking obviously about all the latest gossip and what people are saying, and I said, well, how about the phenomenon of the American candidate? And he said, yeah, there's Dolan and O'Malley, but he said, I don't think that's the one. I said, really? He said, yeah, I think Cardinal Wuerl might be a candidate. Fascinating. Cardinal Wuerl, who, American obviously, and has that efficiency they say that they're looking for here. Also someone who speaks flawless Italian and has spent a good deal of time here in Rome. Who knows? A few weeks ago, no American was possible. 1, 2, maybe 3 Americans now being talked about very seriously. Obviously, too, Cardinal Scola still, Cardinal Ouellet, many of the others who've been mentioned, but it's this American boom, which is fascinating. Also, yesterday, Cardinal Dolan appeared at his titular church here in Rome, and it was this media extravaganza, and the impact he made was extraordinary. So we'll see. Now tonight I'm heading over for dinner to the other side of Rome with my friend Father Paul Murray, and a lot of the Word on Fire people know about Father Paul. He's a great spiritual writer, Dominican teacher over here at the Angelicum, and joining us is a good friend, Archbishop Arthur Roach, who was bishop up in Leeds and just recently became the Undersecretary for Liturgy and Sacraments. Wonderful man, very generous, very bright man. So tonight I'm going to get the other perspective. I've been talking to a lot of Americans here, and of course they're naturally, I think, talking up the American possibility, but we'll see now what Father Paul and Archbishop Roach say tonight. So maybe I'll give that report tomorrow. But thank you for the prayers. God bless all of you, and thanks for following these reports. Pray again especially for the cardinals who'll be gathering in conclave. And God bless you all.